Hey everyone, Tony Brown here, and I teach networking and cybersecurity. And today we're going to be working with Netacad and specifically the lab 3.7.10 using Wireshark to view network traffic. So, in order to get this lab completed, you need to have three things. You need to have a Windows computer, you need to have Wireshark installed, and you also need an internet connection. Now, for those of you who've never used Wireshark before, you need to have two IP addresses. One is your IP address for your computer, and the second is an IP address of another computer on your network. If you can't find another computer on your network, that's perfectly fine. For this exercise, just let me know that you only have one computer in your network, and we can forego that and go to the second part. But if you have at least a cell phone and a Windows machine in your house, you should be able to work with this exercise. All right. So, if you've got a Macintosh or Linux, you can also use these commands. You'll have to change the actual syntax a little bit, but it is still doable. What I would do is I'd go online and research how to use ipconfig and how to ping different IP addresses within your network and outside of your network. All right. So, to get started, the first thing we have to do is we have to go to the command prompt. So, on your Windows box, you can click in the search button and type in CMD, and that'll be your command prompt. And you'll open up to a screen that kind of looks like this. Yours may be a little different. Does not matter what's the first part of this, is what you type in that matters. So what we have to do first is look up our IP address in our computers. So in order to do that, you'll type in ipconfig space /ALL. And for mine, I've got a virtual machine. I've got two virtual machines on my computer. So I've got a bunch of connections. But the specific one that you want is where it says preferred. That is going to be your actual IP address. Again, you may see some other ones depending on how you have your computer set up, but you want the one that's preferred. So my IP address is 192.168.0.135. You want the IP version 4 address because the IP version 6 address is going to be a little longer and it's easier to remember these four octets than it is all of these octets. Okay, you've also got a physical address or a MAC address that starts with 8C1277 1A35. So you'll need to remember that for later on as well. All right. Then you may want to find another computer that's on your network. Again, if you go to let's say you're using your cell phone, if you go into the network settings, it'll tell you what your IP address is and also what your physical address or MAC address is. Make sure you write down that number. Okay. So that's how you get your IP address. I also like to type in CLS to clear out that screen since I've already got my IP address. Now, next, you want to open up Wireshark. And what you should see here is you should see some of those same connections. Like I believe mine was connect Ethernet 6, which is this one right here. You also saw connection 1 and 2. Not going to be using those. I want to look at the Wi-Fi traffic, which is right here. So I click on Wi-Fi 3, double click it, and it starts showing me everything that's coming through the system. Now, when I say everything that's coming through the system, if you have any type of devices that are on your network, whether it be like a Amazon Echo, whether it be a Google Nest or Google Nest Hub, you can even have like the little outlet plugs or lights that turn on and off automatically. Those are all internet based, so that's connected to your system. And those devices are always on and they're always sending information back and forth. So that's what you're seeing here in this information, or excuse me, that's what you're seeing here in this area. So right now, this is capturing all the info. If I ever want to stop it, up here at the very top, I click on that little red button and that's going to stop capturing everything. So I'm going to continue to let it capture and I'm going to go back to the command prompt. Now from here, what I want to do, I've got another Macintosh here in my house, and I already know the IP address of it. It is it's 192.168.0.171. I know that's it. I've actually got a mapped folder here on my system that actually has that IP address. So as long as that computer's on, that's going to be the IP address for it. All right. So in order to look at that computer and make sure I can see it from my computer, you have to use the command ping. So ping space, and then you want to put in that IP version 4 address. Again, mine's 171, and if you remember networking and anything that you've learned, you know that 192.168 is a local address. So all these are local addresses because I only have one internet connection coming into my house. Because I have a router, it then splits it into multiple connections, and everybody's 192.168 within my network. So 192.168.0.171. If I hit enter, you should see 4 different replies. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's saying that it takes 109 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds, 215 milliseconds, and 108 milliseconds in order to get from my Macintosh, which is literally a foot away from me, back to this computer. All right. So now we can go back to Wireshark because we've captured that data, and let's hit stop. So it's got a bunch of info that it's been capturing for these past, I'll say 2 minutes. There's a lot of information that's being transferred from one place to the other. Now what we need to do is we need to look for that ping that is within Wireshark. And it's very easy to do. It's got a keyword ICMP. So in order to learn some more information about ICMP, you can look back on your Wireshark document, or you can go back to Netacad and review Chapter 3. So if I type in ICMP, lowercase, if you type in an uppercase, it may not work, but lowercase ICMP, you'll now see the pings that I sent from my computer to 171, my Macintosh. And then you'll see where it replied, hey, I'm here. There's 171 back to my computer. So from here to there, and then it said, hey, I'm here, and it sends it back. And it replied and requested about 8 times. So looking at this first one, I believe some of the questions are asking you what's the physical address for the source computer and what's the physical address for the destination computer. If we look down here at the bottom, it says Ethernet 2, and it gives you the source SRC. It's going to give you a physical address. It won't give you the IP address because, again, depending on how your network is set up, it may have different IP addresses, but your physical address is always going to stay the same. Because a physical address on a computer is like a social security number to a human being. It's always going to be unique. So this is our physical address here. 8C EA1277 If we go back to our command prompt, let's check out that physical address again. I'm just going to hit IP config. See, it gives me 612 and then the preferred, which is 135. That does not give me what I want. So now we need to say IP config and all. So we hit that. And then now it gives me my physical address. So 8C EA1277. You see whether I can reduce this. And we are looking for 8C EA1277. Where is it at? 8C EA1277. So that means that source is my actual physical computer here. And the destination at CE2378A67513, that is my destination MAC address or physical address. All right. So that's how you do part 1. And then you should be able to answer the rest of the questions for that. And then we have part two. Now you'll ping remote hosts, which is yahoo.com, cisco.com, and google.com. All right. So now in order to do that, let's see whether I can clear this out. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to hit start again. And we want to continue without saving. And now we start a brand new capture. Now let's go back to our command prompt. And I'm just going to do the first one, which is Yahoo. So ping www.yahoo.com. So now for some reason it is timing out for Yahoo, which is fine. Sometimes they don't want to send you any information back. So now let's ping cisco.com. And hey, now we got a response. Okay. Now they want you to do a third one, google.com, but we're not going to do that in this lesson. You can do that on your own. And I'm going to go ahead and stop it. So now it asks for the IP address of yahoo.com. Well, that IP address, if my IP address is 135, I've only got another one here, which is 209.73.179.248. So that will be the IP address for yahoo.com. All right. Next, we've got a source. Excuse me. Yeah, we got a source and a destination physical address or MAC address for yahoo.com. Now, keep in mind with Yahoo, they're just like other big companies, depending on when you ping that server, it may have a totally different IP address. And that is because they have multiple servers running the same information. It's kind of like a RAID 5 server where you have redundancy. So you may hit server 1 the first ping, you may hit server 2 the next ping, and you may hit server 5 the third ping. It just depends on where it is in this world, because it can be somewhere in California, it could be in the Midwest, it can be out in a different country. It just depends on where those servers are located. So that will be the source and the destination. And it looks like for the second ping for Cisco, it did get a reply. So that Cisco IP address is 23.220.129.41. So that's how you can get this information. And I'm quite sure if you do another ping to Cisco, it's going to give you another IP address because, again, the redundancy. All right. Then you should be able to answer the rest of those questions. For this lab, for my course, after you're done with the reflection question, you do not have to do Appendix A. Okay? All right. So if you have any questions, you've got my email, and you can hit me up at any time, and I'll be able to, I will be more than happy to help answer any questions that you have. Talk to you later.